Well, would you look at that, everybody? Another week, another Chainsaw Man chapter. That's just our lives now. Chainsaw Man chapter 100 indeed. And our last week's video 4 days ago, because I always forget to upload these. I hope I remember this evening, to try and upload it. It stayed up, so it seems like our new way of not scrolling but looking at images in tabs will avoid us the copyright strike of death. 3 copyright strikes of death and you're dead. So we got to be careful about these types of things. We do have more pages up, so that could get us in more trouble, but we'll see how we go. Twitch chat rocking right now, just CeeLo Pilled hanging out. We were streaming at a little bit of an odd time. It doesn't matter. But anyway, CeeLo Pilled, the man in chat himself, has informed me that this chapter, people are saying that it was a boring chapter, in fact. I thought it was cute. I guess it's a little underwhelming, maybe, but it's cute, and it's establishing some of these characters that I think are going to be sticking around for a while. Though the debate of whether or not Y-U-K-O, Yuko, that's probably how you say that. Yuko, the debate, the discussion around whether or not she's surviving, whether or not she's a good guy, bad guy, I'm sure that's something we'll get into. But indeed, it is chapter 100, How to Walk Shoeless. Minty pointed this out to me, that maybe the fact that not a lot plot relevant happens this chapter is sort of a subversion of the fact that it is chapter 100. And when you come to big numbers like this, you tend to expect something big to happen. I have no idea what chapter 50 was. I don't remember if it was significant or not. But I don't know. CeeLo Pilled, get on it. Tab over and tell me what chapter 50 of Chainsaw Man was. I can't bring it up because I'm too scared of the copyright police. But we start this chapter basically focuses on, I guess, 2 scenes. We get initially the 3 of them who we were introduced to being a group at the end of last chapter, walking through the school, potentially devil hunting with their axe and the sword here. Octopus Boy, I don't think we see him with a weapon because he's got tentacles that he can fuck people up with. Mitika, I still don't know. Chat. I still don't know if it's Mitika or Mikita. She's got in terms of devil powers, I'm unsure about whether or not they're out in the open. Does everybody know that Octopus Boy is indeed an octopus boy? Obviously, people don't know that Mitika, or we're not even going to address it moving forward. Obviously, they don't know that she's the war devil. We don't know about Yuko here yet. I'm trying to remember. I've forgotten so much about the Chainsaw Man power system. I'm trying to remember, like, is it public knowledge? Does everybody know that Octopus Boy was just, like, in the public safety? That's what it was called, right? The public safety, whatever. All the ideas are hazy. I don't know if normal people think it's weird if you have a contract with the devil, because that's different from being possessed by a devil. Like, would they just have killed Denji if he wasn't useful? I can't remember. I can't remember the specifics. I'm an idiot. Aki saves the angel femboy and Denji reds the shark dude. Pretty cool, I guess. So they're in the is that in the middle of the Reese stuff or right afterwards? I forget where angel femboy came into play. It's probably when he grabs angel femboy and it's like, oh, years of my life are being drained out right now. Lamau. Then he died shortly after that. What a loser that Aki was. I'll throw a snowball at him real quick. But moving on here, we do get some information about the school here, that it's the biggest school in Tokyo. Supposedly devils sometimes live in unused classrooms, which has some interesting implications of, like, potentially that means that, like the cities are dying off, like maybe devils are killing a lot of people. That was the whole thing with the gun devil, right? A bunch of people died, so it's like the cities are sort of ghost towns because we don't need this many classrooms. That when the school was built in the prime of Tokyo, all of these classrooms would have been filled, but now there's some abandoned ones. That was a neat little implication here. Also, it means that finding Denji here, there's probably a bunch of classes. I don't know if Denji and Octopus Boy are even exactly the same age. They look similar ages. So it's entirely possible Denji's just in another class. And then Yuko starts talking about introducing themselves. She says, I'm Yuko, I'm super into Chainsaw Man lately. And Yashida, God, I can't say names out loud, especially now that I'm second guessing every one of them. Chainsaw Man's great, right? I like him too, which is funny because obviously it seems like Yuko here is like a genuine fangirl, or we'll see what we think she is. And obviously Octopus Boy is probably his best friend over here saying Chainsaw Man's pretty cool. And then Mitaka. Is that what I was saying first? I don't remember. I don't remember what I was saying or what I wasn't saying. She's not even paying attention when obviously the War Devil's primary concern here is, information about Chainsaw Man. But she is too embarrassed on her side about being in Octopus Boy's presence because of the date situation last chapter. It's cute, shows her outward priorities here. There's the appeal of Chainsaw Man and the tone of it and the B-movie-esque chainsaw stuff that happens. I feel like it's kind of embodied in this line. I don't know why this line is like representative of it. The I'm super into Chainsaw Man lately and how like dorky she kind of is about it, even though dorky is not the right word to describe it at all. Like this singular panel here, this is Chainsaw Man. I don't know why. I can't explain why. I think about it a lot. But this right here, this is Chainsaw Man. The I'm super into Chainsaw Man lately and how like people saying that in real life and sort of the I don't know this you just can't explain it. But this right here, chat, this is Chainsaw Man and I don't know why, and we'll come back to it one day when I figured out why. We're skipping some pages here. Octopus Boy completely no sells the awkwardness at all. I wonder if at some point Octopus Boy is going to turn around and be like, I know you're the War Devil, Lamau, and I'm tracking you, and it's time to die, and he'll like fight. Maybe Octopus Boy has a tragic death where she has to kill him, and we expect him to be this long-term character, but then Denji jumps in, and they got to forgive each other or something. There are a million possibilities. We're in like chapter 3. This chapter did give off like big early series energy, and it was something I was appreciating, and I was like, ooh, I want more of this, where it's just sort of like characters initially getting to know each other, and all the possibilities and all the places we can go. I don't know if it's one of the pages I opened. It's probably not, but there was one when they were walking together where I was like, maybe it's one of these ones or something where I really felt that, and it was cute. Then obviously we get the, hold on, Mitaka. Mitaka is getting made fun of by all our classmates who are still mad about the chicken, about Bucky, R.I.P. She can totally still hear them, and they're making fun of her, and it makes her very upset. The stylized eyes here are really cute. There has been a shift in her character since, like, in chapter 1 she was much more cynical, and I think that made her likable more immediately. And now she's sort of, and by the end of that chapter, she develops out of that into being like more of a sad girl. And that's what we've been getting a lot of this, is sort of a more normal character that's getting bullied and whatever. And I think that might have to do with some people maybe not being as into her as maybe even they were after the first chapter, or especially as much as they were into Denji immediately, when Denji was just, like, that first chapter is incredible and making you like Denji, and the rest of the series basically rides off that, about how, like, likable Denji is, that he's so thankful for having, like, the bare minimum, and it's not even that, because saying that is like, oh, that's a cringe character. I'm thinking in my head, like, oh, he's grateful for things? How fucking lame. But, like, it's just in the attitude of Denji and how he acts and, like, his genuineness. I did compare him to Luffy a lot. He gave off that same vibe to me a lot of the enthusiasm and the like sort of commitment and all that sort of stuff. But you got to give Mitaka some time to grow, I think. Just checking back in with CeeLo Pill because I haven't looked down in a while. Yeah, and the building is illegally. Oh yes, I forgot about the that line in the first chapter about it all being illegally built and things like that. I guess Chainsaw Man is like a Hawk of Light figure, potentially. Chapter introduces stuff to be brought back later on, indeed. It is interesting, and since this isn't chapter 3 and it is chapter 100, it is interesting to have like one of these slower chapters at the very beginning with characters. It is an interesting approach. But obviously Yuko? Y-U-K-O. Yuko. She acts very concerned for Mitaka here, and she oversees the bullying and stuff and some other things, and then she sees the raw meat. I thought this was slugs. I thought they were going to find the slug devil and have to fight it or something when I first saw this page, but this panel rather. That's not what happened. She takes a very a potentially too genuine interest in her here and wanting to help things out. The characters that usually get the wacky font usually are supposed to be ingratiated to the audience. I guess this is where we start talking about Yuko and what vibes she's given off here. She seemed very in the last panel of the last chapter. She seemed very like it's just one of those days, chat, where the words just aren't coming to me. Enthusiastic is a word I just said, and so it's popping back into my mind, even though that's not the correct word. That doesn't accurately portray what I'm trying to portray. She seems very open, assertive, outgoing. Something when she puts her hand up and says, "I'm Yuko," or something at the end of last chapter. So this obviously plays into that of her being interested in getting involved and trying to help out. She seems very helpful. Now, obviously, this could be a big misdirect, and I think that's where a lot of the debate coming out of this chapter probably is, about whether or not, if we go a little further, she says, "This is my house, want to come in?" Is she going to kill her when she goes in? Is that the gimmick here? Now, initially, and it might just be because she has short hair and I'm an evil person, I was like, oh, they're obviously gay. They're in love. Go inside, and we're going to get that sex scene that we didn't get in the first Chainsaw Man part, just to show off that we're on the digital Shonen Jump Plus thing now, and we can fuck. I thought maybe that's where this was going. I did see a tweet from Lies in Motion that reminded me that the chapter came out yesterday, where her tweet was just like, it was just, what was it? It was just like, that Chainsaw Man chapter, ... So I was like, oh, some crazy shit must have happened. Better go read it. But in fact, it was not some crazy shit. So I was anticipating some crazy shit. So when this happened, I was thinking either we're getting the sex or we're getting the kill. But it turns out nothing. And then she just went home anyway. And obviously the clever gag at the end. Shall we go sell those? Are you an idiot? It's interesting that the War Devil really didn't intercede here. The other big anticipation thing is just continuing over from the last chapter about what the end game is with the War Devil here. Is it a situation where they were going to befriend each other and get on the same side? Is it going to be a situation where one wins over and the War Devil makes her into the antagonist when Denji shows up? This chapter definitely led me in the direction that she's probably not going to be an antagonist. I guess I'm more leaning to that side, though. It's still very early. Anything is possible. The thing about Yuko potentially turning and being like a devil or a bad guy, or in some regard, is that it's very similar to the plot of the first chapter, right? The class class president. I can't remember which one's from Ava and which one I always say because it's from Ava and which one I didn't say, even though it's what was used in the first chapter. Doesn't matter. She obviously was like, she took an interest in Mitaka, and was like, I can help you out, but then it turned out to be a big misdirect because she was actually jealous and wanted to kill her. So yeah, I don't think we're going to repeat that too early. And it's also reminiscent of Race, right? Where she's like, oh, I want to be your friend. And it's like, too good to be true that you'd be my friend so early. Actually, I'm trying to kill you, Lamau. And then at the end, potentially, if we go down this line of Yuko being the bad guy, potentially it could be that a more similar to Ray's situation where at the end they sort of come to an understanding and be actual friends. Or they could actually be friends and Yuko gets killed in like the next chapter by a devil or something and she has to hold on to the shoes as a memento. And that could be like a thing she wears for the rest of the series and it'll be a heartfelt callback or whatever. Again, chapter 3, a million places to go. I can't believe the Japanese take 2 pairs of shoes around everywhere just so they don't wear shoes inside or something. What a hassle. I know a lot of, I think this is a thing in Japanese schools and in American schools where you have like 2 uniforms where if you're going to do a sport class, you change uniforms and they have like showers at schools and stuff. That ain't how it rolls in Australia, right? You just wear 1 uniform all day. We did have 2 uniforms. We did have a formal and a sport uniform. But you would just wear it for the whole day if you had sport or something. And in Australia, it's like a million degrees outside, so you're sweaty all day and you don't even have showers afterwards. But I guess because everywhere in Australia has aircon, because otherwise we would all die. Speaking of which, my house does not have aircon. Lamau, feel bad for me. Give me money on Twitch. I'm looking down at chat. Heath is now here. And Mr. F, Fed, is also in chat. It's Reese. I don't give a fuck how it is. It's Reese. It's shit, actually, because fuck that annoying-ass character and all the simps. Just embarrassing stuff. I'm sick of good men falling for this Reese nonsense. I think most discussion is about Mitaka's development and people not wanting to care about Yuko because Fujimoto kills all the side characters. I mean, who cares? Are you going to be that sad if she dies? Even if you do care about her. This nonsense about caring about characters, it's just fake, alright? I don't want to care about her. She's going to die soon. I don't want to get attached. Shut up. At my school, you changed for sports class. Embarrassing. Maybe it's just because I went to a public school, because I'm not rich like everybody in chat. Give me money. But Heath is, of course, a fellow Australian in chat. I know that. He said that before. But he's probably from Melbourne or something. Where it's cold, so they don't even have to change. Embarrassing. What were we talking about? Yuko being a bad guy, or certain things like that. And then I made fun of people for caring about characters. What am I actually trying to say there? I don't know, separate your emotions. Can you really help getting attached? I don't want to get attached. Can you really help? I feel like that's just a shitty joke about how recycled George R. R. Martin joke. Don't get attached, guys. He kills off all your favorite characters. Except in Chainsaw Man's case, it's kind of actually true. Huh? That was sick. I loved how Chainsaw Man killed off everybody. That was great. I went to a public school in WA. Ugh. I'm not even sure if that's a real place. I guess it's probably hot over there too, depending on where you live. I don't know anything about Western Australia. It's basically a big fucking desert. Nobody cares about what goes on over there. Doesn't even have an NRL team. Pfft. The Rams are dead, actually. They once did. Anyway, that was in the NRL. Anyway, is that really all there is to talk about? I don't know if I can think about much else. The shoe metaphor is cute. I don't know what else to say. That they're the splitting the burden. We'll both have 1 sore foot instead of one of us having 2 sore feet and one of us being completely fine. If I'm making bets here, if I'm gambling, my gamble probably now is that Matika, whatever the fuck her name is, I don't think she's going to become a bad guy, and I don't think Yuko is going to become a bad guy. I more see her probably dying tragically and us carrying the shoes on. Denji's situation, I think she is going... I don't know. I'm still very evenly split on whether or not she'll be the main character for the whole part, or if we'll hit chapter 10 and Denji will become the main character. And if that does indeed happen, it'll be interesting whether or not we split into half the time we're following Denji and half the time we're following Mikata, whatever the fuck her name is. What was I saying? Whether we split in half or if she does become an antagonist that we only see sometimes. There's still a lot of interest in where we're heading exactly. Every time a Chainsaw Man chapter comes out, it's like a little hint. Oh, We're going to see which direction we're going in here. It's exciting stuff. I just realized on page 17, is it normal for somebody to have their letterbox taped up? Is 17 one of the ones? Oh, it is one of the ones. Letterbox taped up. I don't know. Usually letterboxes are like in the front yard, right? But this is like a small house thing, so I have no idea. Is this not a mail slit here? I don't know. In Australia, we don't have mail slits. You probably do in like cities and stuff. So I don't know. She does have a tape up here. Let's see if we can glean anything here. Does look like a little raggedy house that a devil would use to hide out in, huh? We can see the inside here. Inside looks kind of okay. She is boasting that she has extra shoes. I bet she doesn't have extra shoes, and tomorrow we're going to see her walk home barefoot, and she'll be like, oh, I gave you my only pair of shoes, and then they'll have an emotional moment. Potentially. They're running past this one. Obviously, this is pretty because it's a bunch of flowers and stuff. Chapter is very moody. I feel like big flower displays like this are also moody. And the next one is just them in a field. I don't know if there are other images in the chapter of her house. Though I don't think this is her house. A lot of things I'm finding difficult to explain. Like, I don't know why this last thing works so well, but it does. Should I go sell those? Are you an idiot? I feel like the way I'm interpreting the line works better if this is you're an idiot, not a you an idiot, which is such a little change, and obviously it goes through translations, and little words mean different things in Japanese, and it's always hard to interpret things cross languages. But yeah. This obviously shows that the War Devil doesn't understand sort of the emotions inherently of, like, obviously she is happy that somebody gave her the shoes. Oh, this is also something Minty pointed out, which was, I guess there's a lot of other things, like Mitaka's internal monologue that isn't the War Devil. She has a portion in here where she basically reiterates to herself over and over again that she's fine, it's fine. She's like trying to keep it together, and sort of this is a very relatable internal conflict for somebody who's probably a teenager, very depressed, very anxious, very self-conscious, and that tied into whichever page I was just on. Oh, this is the I'm fine, everything's fine one. Oh, and this is why she doesn't, like, take the shoes initially, because, like, I don't know, it's just when you're in those awkward teenage years and somebody offers you something, or, like, a drink or something, you always say no. A drink sounds like I'm implying, like, that it's alcoholic or something. In that case, you would take it because you want to be seen as a cool teenager. That's not what I meant. Just somebody will offer you something, like somebody might... Or you might go, I guess when you go over to somebody's house you don't really know, and it's like they ask you if you want a drink and you always just say no because you just always say no. Even if you might want a drink, just so you don't have to talk, I guess. It's just like one of those awkward teenager behavior things. It's well captured, and Mitaka has had a lot of those little things even in the previous two chapters. Minty was also comparing her to Shinji a lot, which is... something that I feel they're very different. She obviously has a lot of, like, Shinji-esque moments, and he was talking specifically about the episode 4, like, landscape shots of her running around and sort of finding herself a little bit, I guess, and in the landscapes and things like that. And she also has the scene where she watches the couple or whatever, and she's, like, sort of envious. In that first chapter, her watching the couples, it was obviously a little bit more mean-spirited in her dislike, whereas Shinji, it's a more depressed, like, oh, I wish I had that, whereas Mitaka here, well, in chapter 1, couldn't even admit to herself that she wanted that. But yeah, what was I saying? The shoe devil. Maybe she is the shoe devil. The shoelace devil. Kids hate shoelaces. They could be scary. It is a little suspicious. Denji will teach her how to not be anxious and to be cool. Yes, if they ever do meet, it'll be a pretty big parallel here, where it's sort of like Denji will be really hyperactive around her, and it might force some things out of her. Lol. But yeah. That is all of chat that I had to read. I don't know if there's much else to talk about. Any other highlightable moments you want to talk about, chat? We should compile every time the wacky font is used in Chainsaw Man. I'm trying to think of a single example. I might just be thinking of like the one-shots. I feel like it usually means something genuine. Like the over-the-top thumbs up, like this is also the appeal of Chainsaw Man right here. The way this works, because usually when people do a goofy thumbs up and smile at you to reiterate something to you, it's like, oh, it feels very ingenuine because it's very obvious that they're trying to gesture genuineness. But this is on the third layer of doing all the cringe, should be genuine things that people don't think are genuine, but doing it so genuinely that it actually is genuine. And we're on layer 3 here. That's the Chainsaw Man appeal. And that kind of connects to One Piece, where One Piece will do like the generic story beats, and it'll be like, I can't even think of an example. Why, when I come to these things, I can never think of an example. But it won't do like the big subversive thing. It will actually just do like the normal storytelling thing, but it does it so genuinely that it's like, fuck subversion, just do it genuinely like One Piece. It just has this sort of the dripping personality to everything it does. I used to talk about this a lot with Chainsaw Man, about how Chainsaw Man was inherently a 10, just like One Piece was inherently a 10, because you just feel it in every panel. But yeah, one day we'll be able to explain that well, and it'll be in a video. It is interesting to compare Octopus Boy to Yuko here, where he does not make an attempt to run after and insert himself into Mitaka's life here or help her out in any way. He's being a stoic boy. She'll like him more because he doesn't do that. But yeah. Do you like the Octopus and Mitaka together? I mean, they really haven't had any interactions yet to get too excited about. But I mean, it was teased in the second chapter, which means it could happen. I'm not sure yet, though. I don't know. My initial thing was they're definitely gay. So, Octopus Boy, I'm sorry, you're sitting on the sidelines. Go be gay with Denji. It'll be cute. Octopus Boy might just have a harem, alright? Look at how cool and sexy he is. He's not going to let one girl tie him down. But anyway, I think that's everything to say about the chainsaw here. How long was our last one? It was like 27 minutes. I feel like we've gone for a similar time. They are only weekly chapters here. As my tweet indicated when I had initially read this, I do get sad when Chainsaw Man chapters are over. This chapter did, if some people might want to call it boring, I definitely got to the end and I was like, oh, is that it? And I wanted the next one now. So I'm still very much looking forward to chapters as they come out. As for direct predictions for next chapter, I'm not sure. I feel like they'll probably, Fujimoto will probably want to do some action stuff next chapter, which could mean Yuko gets killed brutally. Or to spice things up, Denji might come in. I got no idea. The direct direction, I completely up in the air about. I have no idea. Eventually there will be chapters with lots to talk about, like the Dark Devil chapter. I feel like there's a decent amount to talk about. I think this is just about as much as you can get out of like weekly chapters, right? Like when we have big discussions like me and Bacon did about this fucking Vinland Saga chapter, this is a monthly chapter with there's a lot of talking in this chapter. And even then, sometimes like the Vinland Saga chapters were only about as long, or discussions were only about as long. Like, I didn't even bother doing the thing about the most recent Berserk chapter because that thing was like 16 pages and it's like 5 minutes of talking. I feel like there was a decent amount. there has been a decent amount to say in these Chainsaw Man chapters. And I would probably have way more to say if I could actually scroll through the chapter, because then I could point out little art things and little symmetry paneling things and things like that I liked. But instead, the Chainsaw Man people have taken that from us. They've struck us down and said that's not allowed, so we've got to settle for the picture tab thing. I think I should have a better way to do it next time. Maybe I'll just put a random image on screen and have OBS capture that while I scroll through the chapter. We'll see. I could always record them offline and just do the audio and put an image over them rather than streaming it. We'll have to see. Anyway, that's it for this week. We'll be back next week with Chapter 101. What will the title be? Nobody knows. But look forward to that. Support links in the description below. Thanks.